Hello, welcome to Enots Engineering. I'm Alan. In today's video we'll start to make a replacement chuck jaw screw for a 4-jaw independent chuck. You can see on this one that the hexagon's got damaged, which makes the chuck pretty useless. So let's get into the workshop and see how we do it. Well, today I've got some problems with my 4-jaw chuck. A few weeks ago I noticed there were some cracks in the round here. That one looks okay. This one is one I replaced last year. And as you see, this one is just broken away. I'll first take this chuck off and put the wooden board there, stop it damaging the bed. To get this thread out, I need to take the back off and remove a plug in the back. Let's take it over to the bench. So to get this out, we turn it around, undo these bolts, and you see it's had other chucks fitted. As I strip it down, I'll clean the swarf out of it. So it's this one we need to replace there. You have to undo that screw. And there this thread should come out. And as you see, it's just a plain bore. And the thread's held in by that. If I remember rightly, this was something like 8 teeth per inch. So the Boxford lathe I've got is metric, so I'll be doing imperial thread on a metric lathe. But the hardest thing I find to do is to make the hexagon in the end. Let's take this away, let's measure it up, find some material. Face and centre drill each end of this bar, which is about 1 foot long, and then put it between centres to turn 4 of these on the bar. So the hole I'm going to drill there will be the hexagon. I'll set the lathe up with the centre in this end, driving dog, the driving plate, a revolving centre on this end, and I've put the tool on the right hand side of the tool post. Normally it's on this side, but because I'm working on this end of the bar, I'm putting it on this side. I'll do the 2 parts here, then turn the bar around, do the same again. That's both ends done. So I can put the chuck back on now and part this off, because you can't part off between centres, because once you cut through, the job will just fly out. Okay, I'm just setting my parting off tool square. I'm just using a square on the diameter I've just turned, and that is now square with the job. I'm just drilling a 3/8 hole, 9.5mm deep in the end of each piece. What I'm going to do now is put this back in the chuck this way around, face and centre that, ready for the hexagon. There's the first one. This will make two. I've got an angle grinder held in the tool post. I've had to set it at an angle to bring the centre line of the angle grinder in line with the centre of the chuck. To put the angle grinder on the end to form a part dish, but also just square up the end. That one's done. Let's see. It's got a nice sharp edge all the way around. Place the job in the vise. Just put the end of the, and then with a hammer hit the end. What I'm going to do next is put some more cuts into this to relieve it, so I can then hammer it in, grind the end off, hammer the next one in, grind the end off and hammer the last one in, so the hole goes right the way down. But this one now goes in to there, which is nearly at the bottom. So what I've done is I've cut some grooves in, and then I've reduced the diameter on the first one so that it slowly gets bigger. You have to wobble it round to get it out. And what I've done on the other end, I've ground a bit more back so I can put this one in. Then, because I've relieved it, you can wobble it about a bit more to get it out. Sometimes you have to put it in the vise and pull on the end to get it out. And that's the original Allen, the chuck key. So what I'm doing now is this part in between the two screws, and it's the first thing I want to do is mark out the position. I'll just use a pen. I've set this at 0.875, so if I touch the end I can just mark. Set my other vernier at 1.25, and that's my two cutting marks. So first of all, I want to go in with the parting off tool. I'll check the diameter. That's 5.75. That's 0.375. Now I need to change the tool so I can face each end. 0.313. Change the tool. I'll do this side first. Okay, that face is now true. 875. This is what fits in there. And all that does is hold that screw in position in the chuck and stops it moving in or out. Just making sure that the tip of the tool is the part that will cut. And I've just got clearance here. It's not going to rub on the tool post. Three, two, one, and it should be 375. That's okay. I've moved it further out the chuck. I've marked the end of each one. You can see there. Just putting an undercut in. So that's that part there, and I'm just facing this bit off, so I don't want to cut it right off because I want to turn the screw thread on that, turn it round and do the screw thread on the other side and then part them off. Now that one is ready for screw cutting. Let's just double check the length. It should be 2.125. That's 2.139. So that's okay. Bits will come off. And I'll also need to put a chamfer on each end. There are the two blanks ready. And the next operation will be to screw cut all of the four. And then once that's done, part them off and face up the end to length.
I hope you enjoyed it. We'll finish this off in part 2. Thanks for watching Enots Engineering.